Hey everyone, welcome to the round 7 preview for the Carlton and Port Adelaide matchup. This is, make no mistake about it, this is another fantastic opportunity this early in the season. Well, I guess we're a quarter of the way through, but at this point in the season, we've actually come up against some pretty good sides. And obviously we're 3-3. We're definitely happy with how we're going. We've come off a really impressive win and I guess another breakthrough performance, if you will, given that it was the four-quarter performance that we were all yearning for against the Dogs. But it's a quick turnaround. I mean, we've had obviously it was a Sunday night game, so you allow yourself a day or two to really bask in the glory, but we've got to move on because if we celebrate too much, the power will get us. They're a very good side and they're going pretty well this season so far. And, like I said, the opportunity to consolidate. I think, early this season we had another one whereby we beat Geelong. And it was a fantastic win, a breakthrough, one of those standard-setting performances. And the key there for me this season was to back it up against the Bombers the week after, which we were able to do. It might have not been convincing, but at the end of the day, it was 2 in a row. And that's something we hadn't really been able to do for a long time when the season was there and the sting wasn't necessarily taken out of it. So it's happened again. We've had, I guess, a disappointing performance against the Saints. We respond, tick. We win against the Doggies, and then it presents with this second opportunity of, okay, good win, can you back it up? And that's the key. That's going to be the key. Very easy to say if we just bring the heat, then, the rest will take care of itself. But let's look a little deeper. We played them last year back in round 2. It was actually a pretty good game. It was Westhoff's 250th. We played him over there in Adelaide. We got Harry Mackay going early. He kicked the first goal of the game. Due to quick ball movement and a byproduct of the system, very similar to the one against the Doggies. So he got going pretty early. Charlie Curnow hurt his knee, if you remember early in that game. There was that famous Mitch McGovern tackle in the third quarter. He kicked 2 goals in that quarter. And then, it was an 8-point game with 9 minutes to go, and then Port just ran over the top of us and ran away with it. And it's one of those forgotten games because it was so long ago and seemingly insignificant, but I think there are some things to take out of there. I think Motlop hurt us really badly that game in that fourth quarter, and he was mashed up on Plowman, and he just got away from us. Jared Garlett and Paulson were playing. You look, 12 months later, we've got Jack Martin and Eddie Betts playing in those exact 2 positions there. So I take a bit of solace out of that. But definitely with Port Adelaide, obviously they're a club I respect highly. On a personal note, I had the privilege of working with them in Shanghai over the 3 years that they were there. I was one of their fixers during the time there, so I was just basically following them around, and anything they needed, I was there, obviously being the conduit between my very little Mandarin abilities and anything that they needed to get from the locals. So that opportunity allowed me to just sort of sit there and observe. I didn't talk a lot. I was really just talking when I was spoken to or when someone asked a question for something. But I got to meet all the players. Their staff is incredible. And I tell this story all the time. I remember after the first year, they had beaten the Gold Coast Suns. We got back on the team bus, got to the hotel, and I remember Keith Thomas, as soon as we got back to the hotel, obviously they were all up and about. It was a good win for them. And I remember him saying, all right, guys, we're excited, but make sure you show respect with everyone you walk past. We've got a duty here. And I just remember just marveling at how from the top down, how they behave, how they treat their fans, how they really invest in making sure that the members are heard. And it's just a lot of respect from me. And it's a very unique experience to say I've, sat with them and met them all in China. I've never really seen them in Australia or anything like that, but I've had the ability to just observe for 3 years, 2 weeks each stint. So that's where my, real respect comes from. And, they're a good side. They've had a poor performance against the Brisbane Lions, and that's something we're going to have to take out of it because, McStay that night with his marking ability really hurt them. And I think even McGovern last year hurt them as well. He got off the leash a little bit. I think he's a little bit fitter. I think the role is more refined this year. So I can see us hurting them there. I think the height will bother them. I really do. That's going to be the key for me. Levi Casbolt has the marking ability that Daniel McStay hurt them with on a weekly basis. So I think he's going to be a key there up the ground, forcing Cleary or whoever it is to come up the ground and open up that forward line. I feel like it's going to be a really fast-paced game if the weather holds up. It's up there at the Gabba during the day, so I can assume that the weather's going to be okay. I can see this being a real back and forth encounter because both sides like to play that style. They're very direct. We're very direct when we want to be as well. And we like to get that quick ball movement, which allows Harry over the top, Eddie Betts over the top, and it creates space in the forward line. So I'm looking forward to that. As for changes, I spoke about it on the show on Monday night, and to be honest, I don't want to change anything from last week. I've made it very clear. I think Zach Fisher's in our best 22, but how do you change, that performance? Unless Murphy doesn't come good, unless Cripps doesn't come good, they're probably the two that I'm thinking about in the sense of, we don't need to risk them. I know Cripps wants to be out there. I know Murph wants to be out there, but we have that ability now to say, hey, you don't have to play just to keep us competitive. I think if we miss one of them, we can still be competitive. Or even if we miss both of them, I still expect the guys down below to take that opportunity. But having said that, as it stands right now, I would personally leave the team as it is and reward that effort and hope that they can bring it again. We're in week 2 of the hub. We've moved hotels. A bit of a change up. I really enjoyed Matt Kennedy's response when he was asked about changing hotels and they said, well, where are you off to? And he said, well, I don't really know. I'm just getting on the bus and wherever it takes me, it takes me. There's a little bit in that. I love that attitude. They're just willing to adapt to any situation. It's very fluid. So I am seeing good signs there. And yeah, look, we're going to have to hunt them down because, we're not the favourite. I think that bodes well for us. They're going to be expected to win this. They don't have the fear factor against Carlton like what they did against the Giants, I feel. And I hope that is a factor for us this week. To get off to a good start, get the confidence early, get to a stage in the contest where we're so emotionally invested that we're playing that proactive football, not that reactive football. It's so crucial in today's game and in particular in 2020. So that's an overview of what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, should be a good game. What about you? How are you seeing this matchup? What does it mean if we can get up here? I mean, we're 3-3. We're looking at a potential 4-3 situation. Is this a must-win game for you? Is it just effort-based for you? Let me know. And also, any changes? I personally, like I said, I feel like we shouldn't make any. But again, the comments are yours. The floor is yours. Let your voice be heard. Let your opinion be said in the comments below. And go the Mighty Blues.